going to continue on with my discussions of the Claude Chabrol box set. This is the Lies and Deceit box set. Today's going to be the third movie in the 5 films, and it's Madame Bovary, and this is from 1991, and it stars Isabelle Huppert who appears in this beautiful drawing, and she gives one of her truly great performances as Madame Bovary. And this is Chabrol adopting a classic of world literature. It's set in the 1850s. Emma Bovary is a bourgeois housewife. She's married to a nondescript country doctor. He's a very good doctor for what the limited range that he has to do, but he's certainly found his level as far as medicine goes. But Emma has romantic notions. She reads a lot of romantic literature. She reads Walter Scott. She also has a restless nature. She suffers fainting spells of depression. She suffers from what the French would call ennui. And there is a young student. They live in a small town outside Rouen, and there is a young student in town who shares her literary interest, and so she does get some outlet because even though she tries hard to be a dutiful wife to her husband, who does in fact love her, he loves her deeply, but he's dull and he's unimaginative, and this is just such a boring life for a woman with these kind of romantic dreams that she has. And she's also pretty. She's really the most beautiful woman in this small town, and eventually she gets noticed by the local rich rake, the seducer of women, and he gets a little bit of a narrative moment where he said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna seduce this one, but then what am I gonna do? How do I get rid of her once I seduce her, and I get everything I want out of her?" And so Emma is certainly vulnerable to this kind of rake, but she also overspends. She tries, like I say, to be a dutiful wife, and she doesn't overspend in the beginning of her marriage. But as time goes by, she is equally seduced by the money lender in town. She goes deep into debt, buying these great outfits, and so her financial situation it contributes to her fate just as much as her romantic dreams do. And so we get a story that maybe on the surface, especially with the seductive rake, we get sort of a Jane Austen world, but this is anti-Jane Austen literature by Flaubert. It's anti-romantic, it's anti-sentimental. And all these attributes apply to Claude Chabrol as well. And Claude Chabrol is incredibly faithful to the intent, to Flaubert's intent, and to the novel itself. We get a narration that comes in about half hour into the movie by Francois Perrier, and he is reading passages from the novel in his narration. A lot of the dialogue comes right out of the book. All the situations come out of the book. The one difference is that the beginning of the novel there's a lot more about Charles, Emma's husband. In the movie, the focus is all on Emma. And I read the novel a few years ago, and I've read some other Flaubert novels as well, and he's not one of my favorites. He is... and Emma, I found an exasperating character when I read the novel. She just, why can't you see how stupid your behavior is? Why can't you see what you're trying to rise above your station in life, and it's never going to happen. But she can't see it, and that's part of her, I guess, her tragedy. And what's amazing about this film is Isabelle Huppert's performance, whereas Emma on the page she never really came alive to me, but in Isabelle Huppert's performance she does in all her complexity. And there's so many scenes where you know, and it's such a difficult part to play because Emma Bovary can be seen from so many different angles, and both Chabrol and Huppert decided they weren't going to make her a victim. She's not a victim of her surroundings, and of course in modern times victimization is, if you were to make Madame Bovary today, you'd almost have to make her a victim, but they didn't do that. They stuck to her sort of the psychology of her character. There's a commentary by Claude Chabrol, scene-specific kind of commentary, just as there was on the other first two movies in this box set. And this is just a great. I mean, this stuff is just great. And Chabrol explains what the novel meant to him. He read it when he was a teenager. He always wanted to make the movie. And in the 1960s, when his career was kind of in the doldrums, he decided to give it a shot, and he was going to cast Jean Moreau as Emma Bovary, but then he didn't feel like he was up to it. It was too difficult a project for him. But then in the late 70s, 80s, he had worked a couple times with Isabelle Huppert, and he decided, well, she's the perfect Emma Bovary if I'm ever going to make this movie of a novel that I always wanted to do, a dream project for Claude Chabrol. I've got to do it now, and I've got to do it with Isabelle Huppert. And as good as Huppert is, and she's absolutely magnificent, Chabrol also cast the rest of the actors in this movie are just so perfectly cast. As the country doctor, Jean-Francois Bellemare plays that part. He's been in other Claude Chabrol movies. He is absolutely excellent. He as the exasperated country doctor. He's really not even exasperated until the end. He has no idea. He's clueless, and we kind of like him. Christopher Malavoy plays the local rake who seduces Emma, and he seduces the audience as well. We know that this guy is bad, but boy, he is so good at it. He has a line like you would not believe that he lays on Emma, and she cannot resist him. And then the local apothecary is played by Jean Yan, who is in many other Claude Chabrol films, and he almost steals the show. Every scene he's in, he is this massive ego, kind of arrogant in his own self-esteem and the esteem he holds for Charles, the country doctor, way above what his abilities are, and he seems to just know everything, and he can't wait to tell you everything that he feels about every subject that's going on in society. So we get this, as I said, this Chabrol commentary, and one of the things he comments on is the dance sequence. And Emma gets a chance to go to a ball, fancy ball, her only time, the greatest moment in her life, she tells her husband as they leave, and he sort of contrasted it to the late 1940s Hollywood movie where Jennifer Jones plays Emma Bovary, and we get a ball sequence, like Hollywood MGM would do, giant, ballroom, couples as far as the eye can see, dancing spectacularly. And in Chabrol's version, he focuses almost totally on Emma herself and her reactions to this ball. This is the world she would love to live in. And there's a great shot where he tracks along with Huppert, and we see the expressions on her face, both envy and curiosity, and why can't this be me? Why can't I be here instead of in this dreary, drab house in this dreary, drab small town? And again, Chabrol is focusing so on Emma and Emma's experiences, and why not when you got Isabelle Huppert to play the part? There's another supplement on this Emma Bovary release is a video essay by Pamela Hutchinson, and she talks about all the various Madame Bovary adaptations from silent days to, I think there was one in the mid-2010s, and location switches to sometimes to Russia, India did a version, modernized the version. But this is, Chabrol's version is Flaubert's version. Chabrol in his commentary says, I wanted this to be, if Flaubert was a movie director in the 1980s, this is the movie he would make. And I think he does, he does capture, one of the things he is so in tune with Flaubert, even though I don't care that much for Flaubert, he is a very precise storyteller, very precise prose, and that's exactly what Claude Chabrol is in his entire career. I complained about the commentaries on the first two, the Inspector Lavardin movies that was by Ben Sachs, because he was unprepared. There were long periods where he didn't have anything to say. But now we get Kat Ellinger, and she gives Arrow their money's worth. I mean, she is so well prepared, and there's no empty spaces in her commentaries, and she knows the novel through and through. It's one of her favorite novels, and she loves Chabrol's adaptation. But there are some subtle nuances, subtle differences between the book and the movie, which she points out as her commentary goes along, and she also has tremendous insight, very personal view of the film. Of course, today in more modern times, you would get a much more feminist viewpoint, and that's okay, because I think Flaubert's book and Chabrol's movie is open to interpretation. You're not led by the hand by either Flaubert or Chabrol throughout their career. You're kept sort of at a distance, and of course some audiences don't like that. Other audiences, like myself, I do like that. So an excellent, and I'd never seen this movie before, and Chabrol tackling great literature. Is this the only time he did it? He did lots of literary adaptations, and in fact, the next movie in this set is Betty, from a novel by Georges Simenon, and a crime writer of supplemental depth that you would think, yeah, Chabrol is suited for this guy. And this is another one I've never seen. I think that's Beecher Stahl in the part. I thought I had seen this before, but I don't think so. Okay, thanks a lot for everybody who managed to listen to me. I really do appreciate it. Comments are always welcome. Take care.